project planning and scheduling skills. It's a privilege to have with us Ms. Nima Cletus as today's speaker and trainer. With her deep expertise in building information modeling and hands-on experience in softwares like Revit, Primavera, Navisworks, ACC, and Dynamo, Ms. Nima brings both technical proficiency and teaching excellence on the table. Passionate about integrating technology to construction, Ms. Nima continues to inspire learners through her training, research initiatives, and contributions to digital construction practices. We are certain that today's session will be highly informative and beneficial for all of you. So before we start our session, I request all the participants to switch off your mic to avoid any disturbance throughout the webinar. And if you have any doubts or questions, you can post it in the Q&A box and your questions will be discussed during the Q&A session. So without further delay, let's move to the webinar and get ready to explore Primavera P6 for beginners with Ms. Nima Cletus. Over to you, ma'am.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session. I'm really excited to be here with y'all for the session for Primavera P6, which is a very powerful tool. This is a very good for the project planning and coordination and also scheduling in the AEC industry. As someone who has been working in the BIM field for more than 2 years, uh, I have seen firsthand how integrating tools like Primavera P6 can improve the coordination, the planning accuracy, and the scheduling, etc., in a particular project. So, I think this particular session will be giving you valuable insights. And even if you're a beginner in Primavera or if you want to improve your Primavera scheduling skills, this session will be good for you. So let's just dive in. So this is the agenda overview. Here, mainly we'll be looking the key features of Primavera, its interface, how it influences the like components of BIM. Also, we'll be more checking into scheduling. Primavera has so many benefits like scheduling, resource management, risk management, etc. But we'll be looking its key feature, which is scheduling itself. So this session will be all about its interface, how to set a project in Primavera, how to schedule it, and other key factors which control the project in Primavera. So as I said, all of you will know that Primavera P6 is a project management software. Uh, So it is actually a high performance enterprise grade project that project management tool. That means when we are working on Primavera P6, it is totally different from other project management softwares like Microsoft Excel, etc. Because usually we um, use such softwares or such tools like project management tools for small buildings or small projects, small scale buildings. But when we come to Primavera P6, we usually work on Primavera P6 for complex large scale buildings, etc. And also Primavera P6 is based on critical path method, which we might have learned at some point in if you are a civil based person, you might have learned critical path method. It simply means we'll be dividing the projects, the task or activities in one particular project, and we'll be checking the critical time or the time to finish the project, the earliest time or the latest time. We'll be checking like that. So that is the same method which we are doing in Primavera P6 also. And this Primavera P6 is a software developed by Oracle. Also, Primavera P6 has some features which is different from other BIM softwares. Like in Primavera P6, you can set multiple projects in one particular database. Also, there is no need for saving the project. Whatever you're doing, it will be automatically saved in Primavera P6. This can give you an issue also because the amount of undoing and redoing is minimal in Primavera P6. So we have to be careful while adding the datas, mainly when we are setting the calendars, datas, etc. When we are scheduling, we should be more careful with the data because it will be hard for us to just go back and check whether where we got the mistake. Okay. So also in Primavera P6, the most important or the most useful um uh, thing is that it is actually it keeps our data confidentially. Like we can keep our projects for in our system itself. Only if we share it to others through mail or any other methods, it will be viewed by other people. In our database will be only for our system. So that itself is the key capabilities. It is actually multi-user also. That when you're working in cloud Primavera, you can you can work with other employees also. Like when you're in a company, you all can do work in one particular project itself. But we are not doing the cloud right now. We are just doing the Primavera scheduling in a standalone Primavera itself, which everybody of y'all can do. Because it's a licensed version, we can download that also. So the industries which use Primavera P6 are mostly construction and infrastructure industry, oil and gas, utilities, aerospace, manufacturing, IT, etc. So mainly for scheduling only we do Primavera. So in all these industries, Primavera is a key tool for scheduling itself, scheduling and planning the projects. We can also track the projects. Once we are doing the projects on site, we can track it also using Primavera P6. So sorry, before going to the database setup, I will just help you all with how to download Primavera from its site. So I'll just show you how to download. You have to just go to Oracle Software Delivery Cloud. Just go to the site, go to the first link. So here you'll be having sign in option and account creation also. If you're new to Oracle, you have to create your account. Just like how you create other accounts, you can give your mail ID, username, etc. You have to set a password and your uh, name, job title, etc., address, and all. You will be getting an account in Oracle. I've already created an account in Oracle, so I'll just sign in. So this is the first step towards downloading Primavera P6. So when you're signing in, you will get a interface like this. Here, what you have to do is there'll be a search button over here. You have to search the software which you need. That is Primavera P6. So I'm just searching for Primavera P6. You can see we got so many options over here. From this, you have to take Primavera P6 Professional Project Management. Now, if you here, this is the latest version of Primavera, that is 24. So if you want, you can take that. So I'm just taking the 22 version. I'm just selecting it, and it's downloaded actually. Now I'm just going to the option continue. You can see it in the top right side. Just click continue. So here You have to download all this. So just click continue. Now, there are terms and restrictions. Some terms will be there. You have to just tick over here and continue. Now we have to take the zip file of Primavera. That is this first file. You have to just select it. It will be downloaded. So it's getting downloaded. It may take a few minutes. So just extract this from the file folder. So when you're opening the folder which you downloaded right now, you can see an option. You can see another zip folder that is P6 Professional Setup. So please extract this also. So I'm just extracting it over there. So here I can see P6 Professional Setup. So I'm just selecting it. Now you have to give the option typical itself. I already have a Primavera version. That's why I'm having this option replace existing version. If you are taking Primavera for the first time or if you're downloading it for the first time, you won't be having this option. So I'm just unticking that. Okay. Now you will be directly going to this particular option itself, like ready to install Primavera P6 Professional. Just select install. Okay, just check whether this option is on and just go to OK. So this is actually database setting. This will be, we will get this here itself. So I'm just setting the database. So here you have to go. So here the driver type should be P6 Professional Standalone SQLite. Here add a connection to existing standalone is there, new standalone is there. We have to click the new standalone. Just select next. You have to give your login name, personal name. You have to enter your password also. So I'm just giving a password. Always remember your login name and password, because if you're forgetting that, your particular projects won't be opening, like your database won't be opening. You won't be having any other options to retrieve the password. So just remember what you are adding. Also, this currency setting, there is no need to do that from the database. We can do it when we are doing the project itself. So just select next. Here, the database location will be there. You can, if you want, you can change the location. And you can save it, or else you can just, oh, I'm sorry, I just didn't follow the path. Okay. I'm replacing the one which I already had. Now there'll be an option called load sample data. You can just off that. Otherwise, you'll be having you like Primavera will provide you with some sample data. If you are a beginner in Primavera, that may confuse you. So you can just off that. Now you can just save the database. This option is coming because I just replaced the existing database location. That's why it's okay. You can just press OK and close this particular database configuration. This is how you set up Primavera in your system. Now, after all this, you can just go here and search for P6. You'll be seeing, I downloaded the 22 version. Already I had a 17 version. So all these two are available over here. So always remember to take this particular P6 Professional 22 or whatever version you're doing. X64. All the visualizer, we don't need that. For scheduling, we just need P6 Professional 22 or the version which you're doing. So after downloading, you can just open Primavera. So that's it. That's how you download Primavera. So now let's go back to the slides. So after downloading Primavera, the very first step is to set up a database, which I already did right now. So database is simply, it acts as the central storage. So in this particular database, we can create projects, which can be multiple projects, more than one project we can create in one database. And this database will only work in our our system. It won't be working in any other lab or system you're using. So the data will be confidential. So this is mainly like you can use standalone SQLite, which I showed you right now. You can set the database just like that. Now, if you want 2 to 3 projects in another database, you can restart this particular process of database setting. You can just create a new login name, new password, and just create a new database. So this is why you're creating database. The main thing is you can keep your data like it will be confidential. It will be just in your system itself. So after setting the database, so I'm just opening Primavera. I just closed that. So I'm opening it back again. So this was my login name. It is already here because I already already did the database in the first place. Now, if you want to change the database to to a new database, you can here just simply click edit database. You will get this particular option. Again, you can add whatever database you need. Then just give the driver type as standalone SQLite. You'll get the same interface which I showed you earlier. Likewise, you can just take the database again. So I'm just going with the database I had. I'm just typing the password. And I'm just connecting to P6. So you will get an option like this. Just click OK. Mhm. Now my Primavera, I'm sorry. Okay, it's open. So this is the interface. We can just go back to the slides. So this was our first step, database setting. Now let's go to the most important key factors which control our project in Primavera. That is EPS and OBS. So organizational breakdown structure. So this is something very important which we have to add in Primavera before setting a project. So before setting the project, some features like adding EPS, OBS, WBS, etc., which will be explained in the session, will be added. So OBS simply means we just give the, it is more like a hierarchical model. So we will just give the workers or employees working in the project or in the company who are directly or indirectly related to our project. So we are giving their names, or we can give their names or their positions or etc. So we have to show who's responsible for different projects or different activities in a particular project. So that's what is called as OBS. So mainly the purpose of giving OBS is that we can give or we can assign certain responsibilities for each activity or task which we are doing in Primavera. So this also, like, this will be easier for the managers to understand who's working on which all activities or tasks in particular stages in a project. So that is what OBS is. And EPS, this is an example of OBS. Before going to EPS, you can see here they have given as a team, like from the Department of Transportation. You can see the next hierarchy level is management. Under management comes director and also project controls engineer, like that. Here you can see state of PA, under state of PA labor management president, just like Department of Transportation. This particular water division also comes under the same level as Department of Transportation. So this is just simply showing the hierarchical structure of a company, or of the work of the, like, company, or the um, you can say now here it is the state of PA, like whatever that is directly related to the project. So that's what OBS is. Now EPS means, EPS comes like, if OBS is a hierarchical arrangement, EPS will be the topmost or the most important that can be a company or a person who's working in this project will be given as the EPS. So if you're working for a company ABC, your company ABC will be the EPS for that one, for that particular project. Or if the director is the person who's controlling the whole project, we can say the director is the EPS of that particular project. That is what EPS is. So this just give a top-down view of all ongoing and our planned projects. So this is a more like grouping this particular people, or the employees in this project itself in a hierarchical way. So the topmost position will be given as the EPS. So that can be the company or the department you're working on, or the director or the CEO, who anybody who's controlling the whole project. So we can just check that in Primavera P6 itself. So this is Primavera P6 interface. So before going to EPS and OBS, we can just watch the interface. Here you can see, there is a menu bar on top. That is usually in what this same menu bar will be seen in so many softwares like Revit, Dynamo, etc. You might have seen if you have worked in other softwares. So here, to create an open a project, we will be having this file option. So for cutting, adding, deleting, etc., the edit option is there. Likewise, the view related tools can be checked under view. Project related tools can be checked under this particular tab. Likewise, there are similar tabs. And on the second row, you can see the things which are here in the tab itself is just added as a sub in the second row. So you can customize all this. If you need, you can customize that also. Here you will be having an option. You can add or remove the buttons over here. So this is what comes on the top. Now, when you're looking at the right and the left, you can see some tools. These are called as directories. So all these tools are available in the menu bar also. So this is just simply for our easiness only. We are getting all these tools in the left, right, and on the top. If you're knowing the path, you can just simply go and take the tool. Now, to create a new project, you can go to File, New. The same tool is available over here also on your left side. So if you want to add something, here you'll be having an add option. That is itself is here in edit also. So that's it. All the tools are repeatedly given for our easiness. So that's what comes in the top, left, and right of Primavera. So in the center portion, you can see projects. So we are currently in the window projects. Here you can see a table. This is called the table view. This is the chart view. This chart is called as gun chart. So the chart is actually a pictorial representation of the task or activities which we add in a project. Here you can see a detail view. This third one is called as a detail view. You can just minimize and all. This is called detail view. So here you will be having the detailed options of whatever you are selecting in the table. You will be getting the details of it in this particular view. So this is a Primavera's interface. Now I'm just going to the first thing which you have to create in Primavera is always EPS. So EPS or Enterprise Project Structure comes under Enterprise tab. You can see here EPS. So I'm just going to create an EPS here. Now, here you'll be having an ID for EPS. So, if you're adding more than one EPS, so like several EPS, for example, if you are having 2 to 3 departments and there are multi projects, and you have to add 2 to 3 projects in one particular department, etc., it's easier to understand the departments and all, etc., or group or filter it using the ID. That's why we are using the ID. You can give it as a short abbreviation of whatever you are typing as the name. So now I'm just typing the EP's name as maybe ABC Limited. So the EP's ID, I will just give it as ABC itself. Now, here you can see some tools. This will be available in whatever you're opening, like OBS, any other options also in this Primavera. That is basically close means we can close it. Add means if, as I said, if you are having more than one department or in like anything like that, you can add over here. And when you're adding, you can see this new EPS comes under ABC. This is the level. You can see it is coming under ABC. Now, if you want it to be of the same level or same position as ABC itself, here you will be having navigation tools. You can just shift left. So this will be of the same level. Now, maybe this particular EPS is coming under the company. Maybe it is a training department or project department. You can just shift right and make it under this ABC. So this is how you create different EPS. Now you can add again. If you want it to be under new EPS, you can just shift right likewise. So I'm just deleting it. I'm only adding one particular EPS. And I'm just, as I said, there is no need for us to save this particular file. We can just simply close it. It will be automatically saved over here. Even if you're closing the whole window or whole Primavera, you can just go back to the database and add your password and you'll be getting whatever you did in Primavera without saving itself. So after creating the enterprise, the next step is to create the OBS, that is organizational breakdown structure. So I have a sample data with me. I'll just show you. We can just add the data from this particular file. So I have just taken some obvious names. So this is, I'm not going to add everything, but I will just show you with the first few how to add all this. So this is the obvious list which I have with me. As you can see here, this ABC Limited means the topmost whoever or let it be the person or the company, it will be the first person or the first name to be added in the OBS itself. In this particular OB setting, here we have added the person's name with their position also. So this is not necessarily like we have to do that. It is not mandatory to do that, but you can just give the name, or if you want, you can just give the position itself. So in this particular project, they're giving the name and the position. So if you want, you can add like that also. So this all this depends on your company. Like when you're doing the project, all this depends on the lead or the project management who's working on this particular project, who's the who's controlling this project. He or she can decide what to write in this particular OB, CVS, etc. So I'm just going back to Primavera. So to add this particular data, and as you can see, one more thing here, there are several, like this is done in a hierarchical position itself. Like under the project management manager comes the project engineer. You can see under project engineer comes all these engineers like structural engineer, MEP engineer, architect, etc. So under this design engineer comes the civil draftsman. So all this is arranged in a hierarchical way. Who comes under whom? So the responsibilities also will be added accordingly. So let's just check how to do that in Primavera. I'm just going to the enterprise tab itself. Just selecting enterprise tab. Here you can see the option OBS. So just selecting OBS. Already they'll be giving you a name, like already one OBS will be added there, like called enterprise. You can either rename it or delete it. So I'm just renaming it itself, and I'm going to give the name ABC Limited. So after this, you can add the OBS. So just like how we did in EPS itself, we'll be having options over here. I'm just adding the OBS. So the filter here, there is already a filter. It will be changed to all OBS elements. That means we'll be able to see all OBS elements. We can filter it to one particular project, like OBS, etc. So I'm just clicking OK. Now the second OBS, it comes under ABC Limited. Let me check with the project. Yes, here also it's coming like that itself. So I'm just going to give the name. So I'm just giving as project manager. I'm just adding the position, not the names. I'm adding the next OBS. So you can see this OBS has the same level as project management. It is coming in one string. So I have to change that because in my data, the project engineer comes under project manager. So I'm just going to select the shift right option. Just going to make the particular OBS under this, under the earlier OBS. So I'm just adding project engineer. Likewise, in the same way, we can add all of the OBS elements. So I'm just adding structural engineer also, and I'm just closing this. This is how you add. Primavera. Sorry, this is how you add OBS in Primavera. Now I'm just closing it. So this will also be automatically saved. After closing, you can, if you want, you can just check. It is already there. So these two are the most important things which you have to do when you're creating a new, before you create a new project. So after these two steps, we can just check what we have to do next. So we have set up the enterprise. That was a, now let's go to the next slide. So the next slide is about mapping the EPS to OBS for project control. So this mapping, this one is also not mandatory. If you need, you can map. Mapping is simply to ensure that every project in this particular EPS has a responsible manager. So from the OBS, we can choose one particular project engineer or project manager for the EPS. That means this particular OBS will be responsible for the whole project. So it can be like we can select the EPS node and we can just assign that particular OBS element. So they will be controlling the whole project and they will be responsible for anything that is happening in this particular project. So you can just simply go to the enterprise. It is already available over here, and go to its detail view. This is how you map. Here there will be an option called responsible manager. If you want, you can just change it to The other, maybe here the company won't be responsible, the project manager will be responsible. Project manager is the responsible person for this whole project which I am going to create. So this is how you map the EPS elements to the OBS elements. Okay. If you want, you can just take back to the company's name itself. So I'm just doing like that itself. Now, this was what we had in our last slide. So let's go and check what we are going to learn next. So these are the first steps. Now let's go to the second topic or second session, that is project and calendar configuration. So before creating the project, we have to, so this is just the interface of Primavera. You can see uh, we will be also creating with the same layout itself. So, okay, this is about creating the new project. So before creating a new project, let's just get into calendars. So adding a calendar in Primavera is really important, because since we are doing scheduling, if the calendar is not properly marked, or if you're not doing with the correct calendar, we will be getting the issues with dates when we are scheduling. There will be lag, etc. So calendar, like assigning calendars is very important. Now, why we are creating calendars? Because there will be already calendars given by Primavera, but if you need, you can create a new calendar also. So we will just check that why. So there are three types of calendars. There is global calendar, project calendar, resource calendar. So in this global calendar, that simply means when you're doing more than one project, this calendar can be like added over there also. So it will be working for multiple projects. Simply we can use this calendar in all other projects in that particular database. Now, project calendar means only for one project. So it will only control the activities or schedules in one particular project. Now, resource calendar means it will be specified to one individual resources working pattern. It simply means, if example, if I'm the project engineer and I want to follow this particular calendar, and I will be giving that particular calendar to the other co-workers also, and the projects will be depending on that calendar. So if the lead, or the if the resource who's working on this project needs to follow that calendar, you can add as a resource calendar. So we can just check that in Primavera P6 itself. So in enterprise, there is an option called calendars. Everything before creating the project comes under the tab enterprise itself. So just go and select calendars. So as I said, you can see sample calendars which are already over here. If you need a 5-day work week calendar, you can take it. If you need a 7-day, you can take this also. And also there is global calendar, resource calendar. Project calendar is not active because we have not created a project yet. That's why. So you can see there are three types of calendar. I'm just going with global itself. Now, there are 3 to 4 calendars inside this particular dialog box. So, as I said, you have to set the calendar according to your project, maybe your client or your company, because there will be differences in timing. Like maybe if you're doing a project outside your country, there will be difference in time, and you are going to follow the client's time. You have to create your new calendar for your particular project. Or maybe the work days, the work timings, etc. In your particular company will be different from the calendars which is given by Primavera. So you have to set that also. Or else, and the third thing is the holidays comes different for each companies. Like maybe there'll be personal holidays like functions, etc. So every year 2 to 3 days will be always an off day. Or maybe the Sunday will be working, Saturday will be off. There are certain rules for each companies. So all this will be like calendar will be depending on all these particular factors. So you have to set it according to your company's choices. So I'm going to set a new calendar. here in this data, uh, here I have taken a calendar sample also. You can just check that. So to create a new calendar, you have to do what you have to do is you have to first add a calendar, and then again you will get an option called select calendar to copy from. So this is for you are just taking a you are just taking a copy from all the already existing calendar, and then you are modifying it. This is the step to create a calendar. So I'm just choosing standard 5-day work week as my copied calendar. Assign it. You will be having a like option over here called select. You can just select that. Now I got a new calendar. I'm just changing the name of the calendar to sample. So this is my sample calendar. Now I'm just going to tick the calendar. So this calendar will be used for a project now on. Now, even though I created a calendar, this would be having the same properties of the 5-day work week calendar. Maybe I'm having a 6-day work week, so I have to anyway modify it. So I'm just going to modify tab, select it, and here we can see the calendar. There are there is a gray color, bluish color also. So this blue color simply represents the non-working days, and this is the standard working days color. And if you are having an exceptional day in your calendar, you can just mark it as exception. Maybe all the Saturdays are actually off, but 23rd you have to work, August 23. So you can just select it. You can see it's different from other boxes. Here it will be of a light color than the other boxes. So this means this is an exceptional case. Here in on this day you all have to work. Now if you're taking it back to non-working from this over here, it will be a non-working day. No, maybe all the Saturdays in the year is working for me. Then I have to set it from work week. Here there is an option called work week. So here I'm going to add the timing in like followed by my company. So here maybe every day I'm just like working for 8 hours itself. Some companies they will be working for 10 hours or 7 hours, etc. You can add that also. Sunday will be a holiday, so 0 hours itself. Just like the sample data which we saw right now. Here, 0. Mondays are working for with 8 hours. Tuesday with 8 hours of working. Wednesday same. Similarly, Thursday, Friday, Saturday also. So earlier I had Saturday holiday, so I'm just changing it to 8 hours. I'm just adding OK. You can see automatically the color changed. This is how you set the work week. Like that, you can set the time periods also. All this can be calculated according to the company's data, according to the work days you have. So here I have the data for that also. So hours per day for 8 hours, like per day, y'all are like in the company we are working for 8 hours. In this, not mainly in the company, for this particular project we are working for 8 hours. So per week, we can just count six days are there. So 6 into 8, it will be 48. Likewise, in monthly, you have to count according to 48 hours. In 12 months, there'll be holidays, so all that will be counted and they'll be adding the data. In year also, all the data will be added and they will be giving a value. So I'm just giving 2,400 over here. Okay. So setting this time period is also important because all this can affect your calendar. So this is how you set the total work hours per day. Now there is detailed work hours per day over here. This simply means the work hours, like the timing which you are working in the company. So here when you check here in this work week, you check, you can see Sunday it's totally blue because from 0:30 to 36, like that means it is giving the 12 to 12 timing. You all won't be working in Sunday. Monday, you can see the company starts at 8 o'clock. That's why it's in white color. There's a break at 12 o'clock. Also leaves at 4 o'clock. You have to just check whether this contributes 8 hours, or maybe the break is like not on 12, like maybe it's at 1 o'clock. You can add it like this itself. Just double click over there and add it. Maybe it's for same for all the days. Then you can just press shift and select all these days and add it like this. Now it is only 7 hours. If you want, you can add like this. Now you can see, all the days, the lunch break or the break has changed. So the working hours and the non-working hours are clearly shown over here. Here, if you are not double clicking, you have the option called work or non-work also over here. You can select that also. Whatever is easy for you, you can do that. Now just select OK. After selecting OK, here also there is an OK button. You can just select that. So this is how you now just check whether you have ticked the calendar which you're doing. Just make sure that that calendar is already there before creating the project itself. If you're doing a global calendar, then just close it. So these are the steps before creating a project. So very important steps: EPS, OBS, and setting the calendar. So let's just go back to the slides which we had. So that's it. After creating the calendar, we can create a new project. So the project itself is for planning and execution. We can add the project details, the responsibilities, who all are doing whatever, when all each task or activities are starting in a project. So that's all that will be done over here. Now you can see here it is given as best practices. That means assign the correct calendar before the scheduling work. So that's very important whenever you're working in Primavera. Always remember before starting the like work itself, you have to and like assure that you like ensure that you're doing with the same calendar or the correct calendar which you created. So you can add like link the OBS elements for proper responsibility tracking. Also, when you're adding the projects, add the IDs and titles correctly. The namings will be useful for you when you're doing more than one project. So I'm just going to create a new project in Primavera. So going back to Primavera, so to create a new project, you have to just go to File. There will be an option called New. You can use the shortkeys also. That is also written over here. So I'm just selecting New. So the first option will be to select the EPS. So if you're having more than one EPS, you can just select the three dots and select the EPS which you have over here. Now I'm just having one EPS, already selected that. Just go into next. You have to give your project's ID. Now in my data, the project ID is RIET. It will be different for each projects. So I'm just giving that itself. RIET, and this is just an auditorium project. I'm just adding the name also. This is just a sample data. So you'll be like, if you need sample data, you will get other data also in websites related to Primavera. You can check with that also. So this is just a data. Whatever we are doing here is just based on this particular data. Now, I'm just going to, very important, you have to give the start date, planned start date. Which date you're going to start the project, you have to give over here. The must finish by is, there is no need to give the must finish by date, because like when we are scheduling, we will get the finish date automatically. So just like always remember to give the start date. Let me check that start date in which the project is starting. It is actually on 1st March 2018. So I will just give the date as. So this is just a old sample data. That's why it's given as 2018. So I will just go with that data itself to show the scheduling process. So just going with 1st March 2018. Now I'm not giving the must finish by. So you can choose the responsible manager for this is how you link the OBS element to the project. Whoever is responsible for this whole project, you can just link them, link their link the OBS element to this particular uh, project. So I'm not linking anything. I'm just adding ABC itself. Now, the rate type, etc., you can add it later when you're doing the cost management, etc. There is no need to do make all that correctly right now itself. There will be options to change it. Now, this is how you create a new project. Just finish. You can see the project is created under ABC Limited with its ID RIET. So, this is how you create a new project. Going back to the slides. So after creating the project, what we have to create is activities and work breakdown structure or WBS. So what is WBS? So WBS is also a hierarchical arrangement only, but it is more of the arrangement of the work which we have to do in this particular project. So simply telling in an easy way, if you are having an auditorium project, there will be several work to be done in the project. And when you're scheduling, you have to start with the first work. And not to confuse, we'll be dividing this work into different stages. Maybe the first stage of doing a project is design, maybe not design stage, maybe initiation itself, like we'll be collecting the data, etc. That will be the first stage. Second stage will be designing stage if you are doing a architectural or any project, so 2D drawings, etc. That will be the second stage. Third stage will be maybe the on-site stage. If you're doing a civil related project, the on-site stage also there'll be like setting the foundation, civil stage, piping, etc., mechanical stages, etc. So all these stages called as work breakdown structure. Simply, we are breaking down the work which we have in the project into different stages, and this is called WBS. Very simple. This is what WBS is. Now, if you're doing a very small project and you just know there are not so many stages, you can skip this also. It's okay. But usually we give WBS in big projects because it is easier to understand what all stages are included in that particular project. After like after which all active like stages comes out the other stages, all this will be understandable when we are doing in this method. So that is what WBS is. So I'm just going back to Primavera and I'm going to create the WBS for the auditorium project which we are doing right now. So this is just an example. Oh, I'm sorry, I just took the slideshow itself. Okay. Here you can see there is also sample data for WBS for the same project. Okay, let's just check what all are over here. So the code, as I said, ID or code is important because we can filter or group according to that. So the code is given in one particular column, then the name, then the responsible manager who's there for this particular stage, and activities. I will just explain it later, and the duration of the stages. Like for example, project initiation, there is zero duration. We're just giving it as a start. Then you can see receipt of information. This particular stage, in this particular stage, there are three activities, and this particular stage ends only in 7 days. We need 7 days to complete this particular stage. Like in design stage, we need 29 days to complete all the designs. So you can see in design stages itself, we will be having sub stages like preparation of the design. And after that, we will be having reviewing. So that is also considered as a stage or a WBS, which is a sub WBS of the main WBS RIET 3. So let's just check how we are going to add all this in Primavera. So to add the WBS, after creating the project, you can just simply go to the project tab. There will be the option WBS. To add WBS, you can take it from here. selecting WBS, you can see from projects window, you just switch to WBS window. So here you'll be having WBS. You can just move this chart this side. The table view is here. There's the code, name, total activities. Now, I need few more columns like the responsible manager, the project duration, etc. Now, if you're not giving the project duration or total activities when you're beginning itself, it's fine because we the data will be zero because we have not added any activities or the timing, etc. Duration and all is not added. So if you're doing it right now, you can just simply add the responsible manager itself. Later, you can go back and add the other columns also. So now let's just check how to add columns in Primavera. In whichever window you're working, like if it is in projects also or WBS or any other windows, to add a new column, you have to just go to this particular tab over here. You can see just right click on your mouse. There'll be an option called columns. Here there is already columns which you can set. Now if I'm choosing responsible manager, I'm getting a column with responsible manager and WBS category. So I don't want this particular thing, so I'm just going back to columns. You can customize it also. Here you'll be having two options. From the available options, you can take the options which you need to the selected options. For that only we'll be having this add to list, add all to the list, remove from list, remove all from list options. So I don't want this WBS category. I'm just removing it. So it just went back. Now I just need only these three. Now, if you want the total activities, etc., you can just, if you don't know where it is, like in under all this, where it is, you can just go to available options and find it also. After finding, you will get that. You can just add it over here. Now, I'm just clicking OK. I got the columns. I'm going to add few stages. As I said, I'm not going to add all the stages. It may take time. Primavera has a problem with that because we have to type everything and go. So it may take time. So I will just add the first four stages. So the first stage is project initiation and its responsible manager is project manager. So I'm just adding the first stage. From the add option in the right side on top, you can see there is an add option. From here, or you can take it from edit itself, but very easy to take it from the right side. So just go to the right side, take add. Now this comes under the project. You can see it's a sub RIET.1. Just check all with the data also to make it correctly. There is no need to rename the code if you are getting like this point 1, point 2, point 3. I'm getting it like that itself. If you are having any other code data with you, you can rename it. Otherwise, this itself is fine. Now I'm going to add the WBS name. So it's the first WBS or stages, project initiation. I'm just adding that. Now, who's the responsible manager? Project initiation. It's actually project manager. So to add the project manager who's like responsible manager, I either you can go to the detail view, you can see the manager's name over here. Here there is a three dot, or you can just simply go and select over here itself. You'll be having the option over there. Just choose from here. This is how you add the responsible manager. All these are like data setting itself. So just properly set the data for the scheduling. Now I'm selecting, adding the next WBS. You can see it comes under RIT1. That's why it is 1.1. But I don't want it to be under this particular WBS because for me, the second one is also of the same level. Receipt of information also comes under same level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the navigate. I'm going to shift this using the navigation tools. Those tools comes in the right side itself. You can see here right side, there is an option called move left. With that option, I'm taking it to the left side. I'm just adding the option. Now I'm adding the manager. It's the project engineer. Now I'm going to set the third one. In the same way, you can set the third WBS. So the third WBS is design stage, and the design engineer is responsible for this particular stage. So I didn't add the design engineer's name in the OBS list. So I'm just adding with the structural engineer. So because I'm just giving the roles, this won't be a big issue in scheduling. But when it is coming to the cost management, etc., you have to give the responsible manager carefully. So for scheduling, I'm just adding the structural engineer. Now, the next WBS is, you can see the next WBS comes under design stage. So that is the preparation and submission stage. And the next one comes under the design stage itself. That is review and approval. So I'm going to add those two. So it automatically came as a sub. So if it is not coming as a sub, here there will be an option called move right. You can add with that itself. I'm just adding 3.1. There was a mistake. It became 3.4. So just make sure the code is correct. I didn't write the OBS elements for that also. So I'm just adding project engineer. Likewise, I'm adding the next stage, that is design and approval. Adding the project engineer itself for the responsible person. Now, moving left, I got the RIET4. Oh, okay. It just, so this is 3.2. So the next WBS is RIET4, worksite facility. Adding that also. Okay. The rest I'm not adding. I'm just showing till here. So this is what I added as WBS. So this is how you set WBS before giving the activities in a project. So let's just check what is activities. So after creating the WBS, can go to adding and categorizing activities. So activities is actually, they are the task or the work which we do in this different stages. So we are breaking down the work again into smaller things. That is called the task or activities. That is simply what we are going to add next. So this helps us to categorize the work or to understand the work easier, the project. Scheduling is also easier when we are adding activities. So in under each stages, there will be several activities. Like maybe under design stage, we will be creating the architectural design, the structural design. So all these are several activities or tasks which we have to do in that stage or WBS in the whole project. So this so there'll be time needed for one particular activity. That will be for architectural drawings, maybe I need 8 days. So my scheduling will be depending on those activities and the duration for those activities. So this is the main component in Primavera. So let's just go to Primavera P6. Now let's go to activities. To create activities, there'll be option called there'll be option called activities in project tab itself. You can just simply choose from there. You'll be going to the next window, that is activities window. You can see here there are several columns. Now I'm just going to add an activity in the same way I created the WBS. Here there is an add option. can select add. The activity ID is just like the IDs which I said earlier. It's important to like it's uniquely defines that particular activity, and it is like important to group and filter it according to the ID. So the first activity, I'm just going to the workbook. So here there is a sample data on activities. You can see the blue color represents the project, the green color represents the stages, the yellow color represents the sub stages which we added, and the white color represents the activities. So all these are the activities for one particular project. So this is an on-site project. You can see it starts. Then there is a taking the informations. There is a design stage, work sites, facilities. Then we'll be having civil stage for all the foundation setting, concrete setting, interior designing, exterior, etc. Then we are going to the building services like the mechanical, plumbing, etc. Last, we'll be doing the exterior work like the landscaping work. So all this is there for this auditorium project. So we won't be adding all this because we have only limited time. We will just going till the first few activities, and we'll be scheduling with that itself. So we can start with the first activity, that is project start. So as you can see, the activity ID is given here, name is given here, the original duration. Original duration means the duration which we have planned for this particular activity. So this actually project start, you can see 0 days. We are just simply giving it as a start for this particular project, but we are not taking any count. There is no counting of days for that. So we are just simply giving that. Now you can see predecessor, successor, start, finish, total float. The start and finish, there is no need for us to give the calendar, like the assign the dates from the calendar. Whatever we have to like what we have to do is we have to give the activity's name, its ID, its original duration, its predecessor details and successor details. Balance all rows will be automatically filled. So what is predecessor and successor? So predecessor simply means if A and B are two activities and B starts after A, the predecessor of B is A and the successor of A is B. Simply what comes after is successor and what comes before is predecessor. Now, if there are three activities like A, B, and C, and B and C starting just after A finishes, A will be having two successors because B and C are starting together. So A will be having two successors, that is B and B and C will be sharing the same predecessor, that is A. That is what is given over here. You can see here after project start, the next activities are 1010, that is building needs and requirements starts also 20. These two activities are starting on the same date itself. Likewise, you can see here on the same date these activities are starting. So this is called the relationship between activities. This should be given correctly. Also, the duration should be given correctly. Then we'll be getting the correct schedule for our project. So let's just go get to the activity setting. Now I'm going to do the first activity as project initiation. Now, there is an option called do not show this wizard again. If you want to add it from here itself, you can just click this. Or else if you need the window to be opened always, you can untick this and like there is no need for ticking this. So I'll just add from here itself. So I'm just going to next. Under which WBS does this come? This comes under project initiation. Just select that and assign it. What is it? What is the type? That is, type means task dependent, start milestone, etc., finish milestone, etc. Such type of activities are given. Usually, for the first activity, if that activity is just a start with 0 days, we will give it as start milestone. And if it is the finishing activity with 0 days, we will give it as finish milestone. And if the activities are dependent on each other, we usually give it as task dependent only. For most activities, we use the type task dependent itself. You can read it from here itself. It is given over here. What simply defines like all these types. So mostly we use task dependent itself. Now, for the first activity, I give start milestone. I'm just giving no continue. I will add the predecessor and successor from the columns itself. I'm just adding no continue and finishing it. I got the first activity, but you can see the layout is different from the layout which we have here. This colored layout is the common layout which we do in Primavera. If you need, you can just add the layout from here itself. Here you can right click, add layout. This layout is called as classic schedule layout. Now I'm not saving the current layout. Just add no and just select the layout which you need to apply. You can see this layout just gives a clear and neat representation of the activities and the projects. So this will make it easier for us to understand. So you can see here I've added the activity under project initiation. Yes, project initiation itself. So here you can see the columns are entirely different from the workbook which we have. For that, if you need, you can just go to the columns, just like how we did earlier. You can take the columns which you need from there. So I need predecessor details and successor details also in my table view. If you need that, you can just go to the wherever you need the group and just select the details. Now you may not know under which category does these columns come. So as I said earlier, you can just find it itself. I knew that it was from the list, so that so I took it from there itself. If you are not aware of that, you can just find it. Now I've just set the columns. Now as I've off the wizard, so I'm going to select the stage from here, WBS, and I'm going to add the next activity under that. So the next activity comes under receipt of information. It is about building needs and requirements. It is for 2 days, and we can just add that. So I'm adding building needs and requirements. And you can add the original duration from here itself. Now just go to general and check whether the activity type is task dependent itself. Just check with that, because because I off the wizard. That's why if you're not offing the wizard, you can do all this in the wizard itself, in the particular dialog box which came earlier. Now I have the options over here, so I'm just adding the original duration too. Now make sure this is in decimal itself. For that, you have to set the user preferences. Just go to edit, user preference. The duration format here is given over here. Just giving it to decimals. If you need to see the label like days like D. If it is hours, it will be H. Likewise, you can give it from here itself. Now you can see it's more clear, like to understand. Now, if it is not decimal, maybe we'll get the scheduling also wrong. So make sure to do this also. Now I'm adding the next activity. So as I can see, it just came like before the activity which I had. So I'm just arranging it from the column itself. So before adding the next activity, I have to add the predecessor and successor details. So for after project initiation, the project initiation doesn't have a predecessor because it is the first activity which I have. But project initiation have a successor, that is building needs and requirements. I have to add that. So to add the predecessor and successors, just go to the detail view. There will be option for that. Now you can add just one, the other will be automatically updated. So I'm going to add the successor for project initiation. There is an option called assign. You'll get a small window over here. So the for 8,010 only. So I'm just selecting that and assigning it from here. You can see SS, the relation is SS, SS and SF. Um, Relations, I will just explain in the slide itself. There are 4 relations. I will explain it in the slide. Before that, I'm just changing this back. Okay. we are doing the relation fs. I'll just tell you what that is after creating all this. So then building needs and requirements. The next one is site information. We can just check whether, yes, site information, administrative, legislative. So this is for 2 days. This is for 5 days. So you can see, okay, project start as two successors. I only added one. So I'm just going back and adding the second successor also. You can just simply select from here. A1020 is also a successor. So this name is site information. Just clearing it. So when I added the successor details, the predecessor details was automatically updated, as I can see. Now I'm going to the next, preparation and submission. I think there is one more over here under receipt of information, one more activity, that is administrative and legislative. So if you just check with the dates, site information is actually for 2 days. This one is for 5 days. So as you can see, after site information comes administrative and legislative under this. So the successor is A1030 for 81020. I'm just adding the successor from here. Either add the successor for site information or add the predecessor for the administrative and legislative activity. So I'm just adding like this. Likewise, you have to add the other activities also. Since we have a time limit, I'm just adding the activities accordingly. I'll just simply add and go. I will add 2 to 3 more activities.
Excuse me.
Hello,
Yes, yes.
uh, I'm just adding that. That's why. Okay. Okay, I will add till here because we have a limit, time limit. So when you are working, you can add all the datas and check. So I will add till here. And as you can see, all the dates are like 5 days. So I will just arrange that also. Now I will just add one more activity. That is, I will just add with the like name like finish of the project. Simply adding that to give the successor for the activity on top of that. Now Finish of the project is actually not a task dependent activity. It doesn't take any days, so I'm just giving it as finish milestone. You can see automatically it changed to 0 days. Now I'm going to add all the predecessor successor data. As we can see over here, after preparation of sketch drawings architecture comes the preparation of the structure MEP. Likewise, after that comes the plan identification activity. So I'll just add that over here itself. Successors. So this comes in an order. So you can see after design development, all these three activities are starting together on 21st March. So I'm just adding like that itself. So for design development, the successors are 80, 90, 100. And for the 100th project, activity, that is detailed design of MEP, the successors, uh, finish of the project. So I just read as 100. It's not actually 100,000 itself, 1,040, 50, 60, etc. So I just finished over like I just gave it over here. You can see finish of the project won't be having any successor because it is the end of the particular project. So this is how you set the data, like adding the duration, the predecessor data, successor data, the names and the ID. Okay, this is the most important thing to do. You can see the start and finish is starting actually from today's date and ending on another date, but this is totally fine because we are not going to add anything from here. You always remember you can click over here and change the calendar. Please don't do that. That will be a constrained date. Never do that. You can just simply do all this and just schedule. The final step is scheduling. Go to the schedule tool, which you have over here, or you can just press F9. Go to schedule. This is the data I have. So there is an option called, like, if all the projects are using their own data date like that. Now I'm only having one project, the open project. So I'm just selecting this option. So there is the three dots over here. You have to give your start date from here. Very important. You have to give the start date correctly. So I'm just adding the start date 2018 March 1. This was a start date and I'm scheduling. So you can see the schedule came correctly. The project starts on 1st March and ends on 31st March with a 27 days duration. So we got this because we added the original duration, the predecessor detail, successor detail, also the start date from scheduling. These three things are to be noted properly, done correctly, and then you will get the proper schedule data. So we can check whether we got the data. You can see here 31st March itself, the project is ending. So I just finished till here, but you can see let's consider this is our last activity. We got the proper schedule data, which we had in a sample. This is how you schedule in Primavera. Okay, this was our last topic, but we have some smaller topics inside. So let's just check through the slide. So you have to remember all these when you're setting the activities. I have already explained some of them, like predecessor, successor, but still let's just check what all are other terms in Primavera. Like when you're setting the duration, that is very important. What I did right now. There is two type of duration. There are two types, like original and remaining. So remaining duration, simply we can add the time left for the ongoing activities. So we are just doing the planning and the scheduling only. So we can just go with the original duration. Now, applying constraints, we can add constraints for each activities. Maybe I want one particular activity to start on this particular date itself. Even though I'm scheduling, I can add the constraints. So to add the constraints here, you have to set the column first. Just take the column. if you don't know where it is, just search for constraint. You will get to a column called primary constraint. Primary constraint date is there. Okay, I need that. Also find next with the name constraint. Here we go with time. I should just search once again. Primary constraint is over here. Likewise, there is secondary constraint, secondary date itself. So if you are having more than one constraint for a particular activity, you can add like that. So here you can choose, see, as late as possible. This activity should start as late as possible, and the latest date, like the date which we have to give for that particular activity, we can give out from here itself after applying what we need. So this is called constraint, like adding constraints. So this adding constraint things is this also won't be mandatory for all the project. When you are planning a project, if you think that this should be shouldn't come on the first place, this activity shouldn't, or this activity should start on this particular date itself, like it is very important to start on this date or finish on this date, then you can add this constraint. So not mandatory. If you need for only like solely depend on your projects or your clients data or anything which you need. So it's not mandatory to add it, but if you need to, if you need according to the project and clients wishes, you can do that. So we can just go to the slide. That is what, when we are talking about constraints, that is what constraints is. And activity codes, which I already explained, there are several codes, like as you can see, 1,000, 1,020, etc. So this is mainly for grouping, filtering, and when you're taking the report, when you're taking it as a PDF, we can easily find it using the numbers. That's all. So that is the next topic. Now, this we already did this in the slide. That is relationships and scheduling. So, activity relationships. I just said that I will explain it later. So we can start with the activity relationships. There are four type of relationships: FS, SS, FF, SF. Simply everything as a, like, if you know, if you understand the meaning of one particular relationship, it will be easier to understand the rest three. That is, finish to start simply means when an activity should only start after the previous activity finishes. If A and B are there, B should only start when A finishes. Now, start to start means B and A and B should start at the same time. That's what is called as start to start. Now, finish to finish means A and B should finish together on the same time. And start to finish means it is a very rare activity. One activity cannot finish until the another one starts. So most commonly what we do is FS itself, that is finish to start. So we usually give that in the successors or predecessor details. Like you can see from here, you can choose and give what relation you need. So here everything you can see in the predecessor successor details, it is FS itself. Only the last one FF, it is has to finish. That's why I gave it as FF. So it is given like that only. So you can just most commonly you can give FS itself. Now let's go to the next slide. That's explaining that itself. So lag. There is another option in Primavera called lag. Lag simply means the waiting time or delay between two linked activities. So lag basically comes for on-site work itself. Like for example, we can tell when there is concrete quarrying for 7 days, lag will be there. So you like you don't want it to affect the schedule, but you have to add the 7 day lag in your schedule. But that will be extra added in the schedule itself. That is called lag. So there are positive or negative lag. So you can just simply give the lag option. from the predecessors itself. Now, maybe design development takes 5 days, but there will be a lag. When we are planning itself, we can go. Maybe there is some work extra, but the schedule is the same. So I'm just adding the lag 2 days. So you can see 2 days also. And now when you're rescheduling, the schedule will change to 2 days extra will be added. So this activity schedule depends on the holidays, the work days, off days, etc. in your calendar. Okay, so you have to make sure that your calendar is properly done. So I've added the lag and I got the finish date. The finish date is changed because there is a lag of 2 days. You can add from here itself when you are having a lag. So that will be visible over here. So we can understand, okay, or originally the duration was 5 days, but that work has some other like uh, time to finish. So we are adding it as lag. So it will be visible in the column itself. So that's what lag is. Now going back to the slide, uh, so this is more like we can like a real world display. So we can understand like in the project also we are doing the same thing. Uh, real in real also in the software also we are doing the same way. So this is the last topic which we have, that is running the schedule, which we already did right now. So when you're running the schedule, always remember you have to check whether you have given the proper duration, that is the proper time. Also the properly check the predecessor successor details that you have given in that particular order. Very correctly. Also the start date also should be checked. After that you will get a proper schedule for the project which you are planning to do. So this is how you do scheduling in Primavera. So this was a topic. Also, this session was all about scheduling. That's why we mainly focused on scheduling. So I think by understanding all these features like EPS, OBS, WBS, activities, share, etc., which we did today, you can start a like you can very confidently start a project in Primavera. It will be easier for you. The After learning planning sessions or the scheduling sessions, you can go to the next phase of Primavera, that is tracking. So as a beginner or as a person who is learning scheduling or doing scheduling, you can improve the work with all these key tools. So that's it. So I hope this session helps you with your scheduling skills, makes it better. I hope this give you valuable insights also. So thank you. This is the end of our session, Primavera P6. If you okay, I will hand it over to Rinda. So thank
Thank you,
you.
Ms. Nima. Now I will quickly take you through a presentation about Uni Athena. Hope you can see my screen. So Uni Athena is a suite of online self-paced and flexible education program with over 4 million global skillers. It's an edutech organization offering online free learning upskilling courses and affordable academic degree programs. It's founded in 2019, owned by Westward Education Group, operating since 2008. And we have partnership with over 10 plus universities. And also we offer more than 700 courses across learners from 146 countries. And the current learning count is more than 4 million. And these are some of our partner universities: Apate University, UCAM, GMU, Chartered Management Institute, etc. So, to tell about why Uni Athena, we offer 100% online courses with free video tutorials, reading materials, and workshops. And the payment, it fits with learner space, that learner can choose the payment plan, whether they want to go with the paper course module or a fast track plan. And it's a complete self-paced learning process. And all the courses at UniAthena is accredited to global universities. And all learners here will be given with a personal tutor or academic associate to assist with the online learning. And if you're looking for a career in project management, you will love all these courses. So these are the top recommendations: DBA in project management, postgraduate diploma in project management, MBA in operations and project management practitioner, postgraduate diploma in engineering and project management are some of this. And these are some of the testimonials from our learners. You can have a look at it. So now the floor will be open for the Q&A session. And if anyone is having queries for admissions, they can write a mail to these mail IDs or contact the bill of William. So the floor is now open for Q&A session. So I will just read out the questions from the